Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. And we are so excited to welcome Emily Shah to the show, promoting her new movie, Jungle Cry. Emily, thank you so much for being with us.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So we know that you're the daughter of a very famed Bollywood star who's the director of this film too, right?
He's actually the producer. So yeah, my dad.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad's produced quite a handful of not only Bollywood but also Hollywood films. So yeah, he's a veteran in this. Yeah.
Super cool. What was it like growing up in that kind of house?
Our talks at the dinner tables were always consisting of filmmaking and creative networking and so on and so forth. So my playground was a film set, and I grew up with a very different lifestyle, and whenever I had the chance and opportunity, I would always be on set with my dad, even as a kid. So yeah.
Do you remember the moment you fell in love with acting?
Yeah, my parents had sent me to a school in India to study Bollywood, and I would watch the older kids act and perform, and especially doing that theatrical type of acting in Bollywood, including with dancing. And I was like, hey, I think I can do what that guy is doing. And it was like a 30, 40-year-old man. And they were like, okay, go ahead and see if you can do it. And I jumped on and I mimicked exactly what they did. And everyone was kind of shocked. And I still have that video to this day. And I look back at it and think, like, I think this was the moment that I realized, okay, I definitely have the acting chops to do this, and I love it. It's my passion.
What do you love most about it?
I like to make other people feel. I like to have that power to make somebody laugh or make somebody cry or make somebody feel vulnerable, to connect to their emotions and connect to some memories. So that's one of my favorite things about acting.
Yeah. And it's also just really fun being on a set, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's the greatest thing in the entire world.
It is a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, when we were shooting Jungle Cry every day, it was just, you just never know what's going to happen with the weather. You never know. I mean, we were working with kids too, so it was always a spontaneous journey. Yeah.
When you finish a movie, do you ever feel, I've felt this before, when you wrap, you really develop a family on set, and then when it's over, it's quite sad, isn't it, coming home and getting back to normality after being on such an adventurous journey with this group of people that literally become your family overnight, right?
Absolutely. And these boys that came from India, they're rugby boys, and some of them are actually orphans, and some of them come from the slums, and so they kind of looked at me as a sister figure, and that alone, I had a family. So just forget about like cast and crew and everyone else, just those boys who were between the ages of 16 to 18 working with us. They really became a part of my family. And still to this day, they'll message me, or even my mom was on set quite a bit, so they'll message my mom and they'll call her mom, and they'll say, how's Emily, madam, and how's she doing? So I still keep in contact with them.
So we know that this film is also based on a true story.
It is, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Could you share with us a bit about it?
Sure. So it's a true story about these boys from Orissa, which is the most underprivileged state in all of India. And they actually have tribal communities there. So these boys are going to a charity school and they're playing soccer. And Paul Walsh, who is an MBE at the embassy in India, comes to the school to see what these boys are about. And because they're tribal boys, they're very tough and rugged, and they have this power that's very good for rugby. So because he's from the UK, he kind of suggests, hey, why don't these boys play rugby instead? And India's like, we've never even heard of rugby. We don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, no, let me teach them. And in fact, they qualify for the Junior World Championship, which is happening in 4 months. And if they don't play this year, they're not gonna be qualified next year. So he's like, let me teach them. And then also let's go to the championship. And everyone was like, you're crazy. This is not gonna happen. So he ends up teaching the boys how to play, and the school had to basically get a loan for the boys to go, and they put their school on the line for this loan. And the deal is that if the boys don't win, we're gonna take your school.
Oh.
And we're gonna take the land.
No pressure at all.
Right. So it's like,
go out there and have fun, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake. And so the coach and the coach at the school, they team up together and teach these boys, and they end up losing the first match, and we're only able to lose one match. And so after the first match, we're like, okay, well, we're done. This is not going to happen. And by some miracle, we just keep winning, and we win the World Cup. And that was the first time ever that India has ever played in a Rugby World Cup and has won.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of witnessing miracles, what are some of the miracles you've witnessed in your own life? Because I know navigating Hollywood or Bollywood can be very tricky.
Good question.
Absolutely. I think I think I've been very lucky with my family. And the reason I say that is because I know I'm half Indian and half white. My mom's blood is British. She's mostly Welsh and Scottish. So I've had this unique upbringing where my parents have embraced each other's cultures and their religions and their languages, and they've taught me the best of both worlds. So with that being said, I think a lot of Indian kids especially have pressure from their parents to follow a certain career path, whether that be in medicine or law or engineering or whatever the case may be. And I think by some miracle, I've had an amazing set of parents and a really solid family that supported me and supported my creative aspect and really loved me through this journey and has said, you know what, don't study medicine. You don't have to go to business school. Do what you want to do. My dad was like, you must get a degree, but do what you want to do. So
A little compromise.
yeah, which is fine. I appreciate it and I respect it. So I think I've been very lucky in that sense, and I think that's my little miracle.
Yeah. And so in addition to like just the divine gift that you have for the arts, what would you say have been your greatest personality traits, the ones that have sort of contributed to your success the most?
I am quite hard on myself, and that is a blessing and a curse. And so I have always strived to do my greatest and to put out my best work. And I have, even with Jungle Cry, I spent so many months prepping to be a sports physio because I know there's going to be a doctor in that audience.
Call you out.
She's not wrapping that foot correctly. So I shadowed a sports physio for a couple of weeks, and I spoke with her, and I studied a lot about sports medicine, and I don't have any background in medical. So I think that's my biggest quality, is that I'm a really hard worker, and I take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah. Do you think that's the secret to making it in Hollywood? The persistence, the hard work?
That, yeah, and positivity. I think it takes a lot of guts to be out here and to do what we do. And I think to stay positive every day is something that not a lot of people are capable of. So I think, you know, to see the billboards and to read news articles and press that comes out every day and to actually be inspired by it and not bitter, I think people have to train their minds to do that. And I think once you do that, there's a lot of success that's going to come your way.
I love that. So
Thanks.
if you're looking for help being positive, I wrote just kidding. I was gonna do a plug right there. It was a perfect plug moment, but I won't do it. It's not about me.
Happiness
It's
from
not
the
about me.
inside out with Rob Mack.
It's not
We know
about
that having a certain level of fame and celebrity also comes with a lot of responsibility. So what are you using your voice for? What are you really passionate about in the world of activism and philanthropy?
I have worked with UNICEF on and off since I was a pageant girl and I was Miss New Jersey USA. And so I've worked with them very closely, especially with their End Polio campaign. So UNICEF is something that I want to continue to work with, and especially in India. I speak the language and I connect to it, obviously, for my personal reasons. So I would love to continue, you know, with my work with UNICEF.
Wow. Well, we love what
Thanks.
you do.
Thank
Very
you.
much. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you and also watch Jungle Cry.
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram at Emily Shah Official and on Twitter at Real M Shah.
Love it.
Thank you guys.
so
Yeah,
much.
thanks for your time.
Be sure to stay tuned. We've got a very special guest coming up later in their show. Amanda Stanton's over there on set. Good morning. We're so excited. She's now accepting roses, so be sure to stay tuned.